Hi, and welcome to the Verifone Training Academy. This short video will provide you with an overview on some of the features and functions available to you in the PAYware Connect store portal. PAYware Connect supports multiple payments, as well as functionality. However, most of your payments and daily operations are going to be performed through your point of sale or even your countertop terminal, which would be integrated with PAYware Connect. But for today's demonstration, we're going to be navigating and processing directly through the store portal. So let's go ahead and get started talking about today's objectives. Here's your training objectives. Upon completing this training video, you'll be able to process a reference transaction using our enhanced tokenization feature in the store portal. You'll also be able to identify the environment and the best practices to process these types of transactions. Reference transactions use our enhanced tokenization feature. Tokenization simply replaces the encrypted credit card number and the expiration date with a transaction ID auto-generated by PAYware Connect, which keeps the cardholder data secure at all times. A reference transaction could be processed when you need to process a sale or a pre-authorization when the credit card information is otherwise unavailable. A reference transaction can only be used if you previously processed the credit card through PAYware Connect. I like to use the example of a cashier that accidentally entered $10 instead of $100 for a sale that they made. The customer leaves the store, and then the manager notices the incorrect transaction. Now you no longer have the card information to process the full sale, but you do still need to obtain the funds for the product you sold. So then, you would process a reference transaction to process an entirely new sale on the card. Here's a couple things to be aware of before processing reference transactions. Reference transactions should rarely be used because it always processes at the lowest payment processing rate available with your processor. And this is because since there is no ability to enter any customer data such as a name, address, or even card verification codes such as CVV and AVS, the card is processed with the minimum requirements to obtain an authorization. You run the risk of chargebacks if there is no way to validate the intended price of the product or service. This is put into effect by banks to protect the consumer. As long as you have a record of the cost of the product and it was posted and made aware to the customer before the purchase, usually this doesn't occur. Lastly, reference transactions simply reference the cardholder data. It does not modify the transaction that you're referencing. As in our previous example, if the cashier accidentally processed a $10 sale instead of the intended $100, and you do a reference transaction for the $100, you will still need to void out the unintended $10 sale. To access the reference transaction utility, select Transaction Processing and select Reference Transaction. You can reference any transaction that you entered the correct credit card number and expiration date for. What I mean is that it doesn't matter if the transaction was declined, voided, settled, or even captured because we're only referencing the credit card number and expiration date being stored securely in PAYware Connect. Select the intended transaction type, sale or pre-auth, and enter in the transaction ID. Click the amount field or hit the tab key on your keyboard. You'll notice that the encrypted card information appears. Once you enter the amount, select Submit Reference Transaction. You are now looking for a captured or approved result depending on the type of transaction that you processed, along with a completely new approval code and transaction ID. If you need to print a receipt, you'll need to use the Reprint Receipt utility. Thanks for watching this short video on the PAYware Connect store portal. For additional product and support information, visit us online at support.verifone.com. You can register for our online knowledge base, view product documentation, and have access to additional training links and videos. For additional account and POS support, make sure you give a call into your merchant services provider. For PAYware Connect technical support issues, give us a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-839-0947. Make sure that you have your 9 to 14-digit PAYware Connect merchant code available. From the Verifone Training Academy, thanks for watching.